Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. No interview this week. The next interview we're going to have is going to be next week, and it's going to be with Steve McCamey, my broker, and the designated broker and president of Prostar Realty. We're going to discuss some new programs that Prostar is involved with to help people sell their own house and get into a new house, whether or not you're upsizing, downsizing, just moving over to closer to your family, wherever you need to go. That seems to be the big hang up that a lot of people are having right now, and we got a solution for that. The numbers that we got going on this week. I want to start with this article we got right here. Saw this on Zero Hedge. All right, this just came out this morning. Zero Hedge is a online news site. They deal mostly with financial news. A lot of editorials that they got going on there. I do not take everything that they say with a grain of salt or verbatim. I take it with a grain of salt, and that's mostly because every once in a while they slip an editorial in on you, and every once in a while they slip what I consider to be an advertisement. They'll go in there, they'll tell you a bunch of news, and the next thing you know, they're trying to sell you gold coins or something like that. But this is pretty legit, and I cross-referenced it all back to make sure that their sources they were sourcing were correct. And they're saying that nationally, pending home sales unexpectedly plunged in January to the lowest point since last July. All right, they're saying that it's dropped 2.8% month to month, and it is being driven mostly along the lines because of lack of inventory. All right, and there's been a collapse in mortgage applications. Less people are trying to get loans to buy houses, and that's been happening apparently. Let me see if I have here. All right, that's actually come down for the last 5 of the last 6 weeks. And looking at interest rates this morning, we do see them starting to trend up. All right, they bottomed out right there around December, bounced around into January, and now they were starting to move back up. Not a huge amount. All right, we're not talking where all of a sudden we're looking at 5.5 again, but they are starting to tick up a bit, and that is starting to mean that less people are starting to qualify for the houses that they want. Your qualification, you can qualify for a loan to get the house you want at 2.5%, and there's no way you could afford that house at 5%. So as the mortgage rates go up, all right, less and less buyers are able to buy. All right, so that's one of the indicators that we watch to try to forecast out what's going to be happening. All right, mortgage applications are coming down. All right, and home purchase applications as part of those are starting to come down too. So we're starting to see a little bit of movement on the national level. Now, here local, okay, we're still sitting here in Phoenix, all right? I ran these numbers yesterday morning. That was February the 24th, all right? And the moment I read them, we were at 4,037, all right, in the entire MLS that we have. And once again, that covers, all of Maricopa County. And some of these listings are leaking in from to the north, to the south of us, places that have their own MLSs, but those agents like to advertise on both, all right? So, of the 4,000, that means there's a lot less than that, sitting here in Maricopa. All right, that is down another 260 from the same time the week before. All right. Now our new listings came in. We had 2,237 new listings coming in the last week. All right, and we had 2,107 closings. All right, of the ones that are working out there, 2,139 moved to pending. 1,304 moved to under contract, but they're still looking for a backup offer for some reason. There were 79 offers that came in were accepted with a buyer's contingency. Right, and we've discussed what a buyer's contingency is before, and we're going to do. We got 662 of them came back for whatever reason, right? Those that goes back into the active style. So, we're still trending down. We've been trending down since October, and I think we're going to consider on there for a while. But we watch. Okay, we watch the mortgage applications because those tend to lead in, right? Every agent out there will sit there and they say, hey, when you're getting ready to buy, go apply for a mortgage, find out how much you have to work with. All right. So we look at the mortgage applications to see, okay, where are the buyers going to start coming in? If we suddenly see a surge in mortgage applications, we know we're going to get a surge of buyers, right? When we see them start to come off, that means we're going to start seeing less of them out on the market. All right. But our prices and everything is still driven by lack of inventory. Right, so it's for some reason, if you have a house across the street that you also own, and let's say it's just empty and you just use it for spare storage, I'm talking to you, Dave. All right, give me a call because it might be time to get rid of that property. So along with all these things, I just did a short video discussing the elements of an offer. All right, a lot of people think that an offer is just the price, and a lot of people are confused right now when they make an offer. It's a good offer. They don't get it. They don't win the offer, right? But they find out later on that the house sold for less, right? And they get upset about this. They want to know what's going on. They start thinking maybe the agent was colluding in the background or something. There's a lot more to the offer than just the price. And this short video that I've added onto this thing hopefully goes into detail on this. And this is something I'm going to grow into something even bigger later on and probably completely redo it. But until then, watch this. If you have any questions, show notes below, write me a message, give me a phone call, send me an email. All right, and I'll talk to you guys later. Let's talk about the elements of an offer. A couple weeks ago, I got a question from a viewer who asked if they were required to accept the first offer they got that met their asking price. And you were not obligated to accept an offer just because it's met your asking price, because there's multiple elements of an offer and it's more than just the money. So the elements of an offer are made up of various issues. What we're looking at here is you are negotiating for what we call a meeting of the minds. The buyer has their requirements and the things that they want out of the deal and the transaction, and the seller has other elements that they need out of the deal or the transaction. It's not just the money, right? During the negotiation, what we're doing is we're looking to identify this overlapped area, this area right here where, the buyer can go to a certain place and the seller can go to a certain place, and they're both at the same place. All right. The offer that you write on the contract and that you send over is the first step towards really defining what this space is and what the requirements are, and figuring out if both sides can actually get to where they want to be. Right? Elements on these things can include the price. They can also include the time frame. All right, and there'll also be other conditions involved in that offer. It's not as simple as $300,000 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anywhere place. All right. In the price itself, all right, without just how much are they offering, you also want to know where is the money coming from. You might have heard of the term cash is king. Right? The reason why cash is king is because it generally comes with no strings attached. If you have a person who's buying your house, or if you are a buyer and you're writing an offer, if you are getting that money from a lender, the lender's going to have a couple words to say about it. They're going to want to make sure that the property that you're buying is actually worth the value you're paying. They're also going to be interested in the condition of it. They don't want to give you money to buy a house and have a lien on a property if there's no roof, or if you're just buying the house itself and the land underneath is leased. All right. So these all come in when you're making the offer. Next issue, and this is one of the ones that a lot of people don't think about, is the time frame. All right. The seller will want to get out of the property sooner or later. A offer right now to purchase your place, which isn't going to actually happen until 6 months down the road, doesn't really help the seller. Sellers sell for different reasons and different issues. Some of them might have a job transfer and they need to be somewhere else here in the next couple weeks. All right. Sellers might have another house that they are trying to purchase, and that purchase is contingent upon the sale of the house that you are making the offer on. All right. They also, along the lines of this time frame, is they want to know when their little mental hurdles are going to be, crossed. Like, how long is the inspection period going to be? When do I have to not worry about inspection period anymore? And so these are all written into the contract, and this is also something in the offer that we negotiate. Right. And then all these things lead to what we call conditions. All right. There's the appraisal contingency. It's a condition. It's in the Arizona contract. It states, if this property does not appraise for the offer amount, right, the buyer has the ability to withdraw from the offer and get their earnest money back. All right. That's called the appraisal contingency. People can waive this. All right. So whether or not is there or not there is part of, the part of the offer in itself. There's also the inspections, whether or not somebody is going to buy a house sight unseen without an inspection, without going up into the attic and seeing the condition of the roof. This is also something a buyer can waive. All right. But the seller generally, will not, and the seller, when they're coming into the inspections and stuff like that, they're obligated and required to actually allow you have access to the inspection, right? However, they can take another offer that's decided to waive inspections, right? And the other thing that comes in as a condition is concessions, all right? In a heavily buyer's market, all right, where there are less buyers out there than there are for properties, being able to write an offer up and saying, yeah, we're going to give you $300,000 for this house, but we want you to help pay our closing costs. We want you to help pay our lender for what his fees. We want you to pay all of the escrow fees. All right. And we might want a home warranty on top of the whole thing. These all conditions come with a price tag, and this price tag, affects what your bottom line amount is at the end of the day. So when we're writing an offer, all right, with all of this stuff in mind and all these different moving parts, just understand that you might be offering more money, and it might go to somebody who offered less money, but that person who was offering less money was paying in cash. All right. And when that was coming in cash, that meant that the appraisal condition is not there. Although a buyer writing an offer in cash who still wanted to make sure that they're getting what they're worth could actually write that into the offer and say, we're paying cash, but we still want an appraisal. All right, and we're reserving the right to pull out of the contract if the appraisal is, let's say, not within a certain amount of what the contract price is. All right. There's another thing is that a person might walk in there and just say, "Hey, I can close tomorrow. I can get you out of here and on your road, on the road, in 3 days." All right. Or another condition that might come up is that a buyer might be in a position to say, "I can buy your house. All right. But I don't have to move into it right away. So if you're still looking, you have a place to go. You don't have a place to go to yet. We'll buy the house now and just lease it back to you. All right. That'll give you enough time to go out there and complete your move." These are all the elements that go in an offer, and I've probably missed a couple. All right. And I've seen some weird ones. All right. You can have stuff like personal property. We don't want the house unless we get the pool table. Strangely enough, this kind of stuff. Other kinds, I've heard of stuff like, buyer will buy the house, right? But you got to finish the swimming pool, or you got to fill it in, or we want the house, but we also want the spa. These are all elements that are in the contract, and we will get to a contract class, and that one is going to be a lot longer because there's a lot of pages. When I have a buyer write an offer and I'm writing it down for them and they're signing it, it generally takes me 2 hours to go through that contract because we go through the entire thing. It is the heart and soul of the transaction. It answers all the questions that the buyer and seller are going to have right there in black and white. And we will constantly refer to it back during the rest of the transaction. Right. So look forward to being able to do that one. I'll let you guys all know when that comes out.